Welcome back to YouTube with the boys. Here we have a fantastic episode on Anthony Padilla.
Can you clear up once and for all why your voice is so deep?
My voice is just primarily deep because it's deep. Genetics, I guess.
Corpse's mom sounds just like him. Corpse's grandfather and grandmother both sound like that.
Thanksgiving dinner just sounds like.
So Anthony Padilla is a content creator on YouTube who interviews a lot of different people. Sometimes he interviews your favorite creators like Corpse's husband, Dream, Karl Jacbobs, Amaranth. And other times he interviews kind of a group of people that fit under maybe a niche topic, like people with multiple personalities, people with Tourette's syndrome, kidnapping survivors. There's all meme stars, all sorts of different categories, some more serious than others. But I would say he's mostly kind of he draws new people in, I would say mostly for his, videos on content creators that don't normally get, a lot of interviews. People who are more kind of hidden away, like those figures of Dream and Corpse's husband. And it would be crazy to go make a video on Anthony Padilla without mentioning Smosh. Anthony Padilla got his start on Smosh, and if you guys do not know Smosh, that's crazy. I would hope you know that. They're one of the, earliest YouTube channels ever, one of the greats. And it was started by Ian Hecox and Anthony Padilla. Eventually, Anthony kind of wanted to, branch off and do more of his own stuff, so he left. And yeah, that was a pretty sad moment for an avid Smosh viewer, which I was at the time. And I just kind of appreciated the history of it. I've always been really involved with YouTube. I mean, I wasn't watching the food battle as they were happening, but I probably came around 2000. I don't even remember at this point. I was there long enough to realize the importance of it and know how, important Anthony was to the whole Smosh organization. But Smosh has grown on to do some cool separate things. It's owned by Mythical, the good Mythical Morning guys, Rhett and Link. And Ian's still there. And I think, as far as I know, Ian and Anthony still have a really good relationship because they were literally best friends all growing up, even if they don't appear publicly that much together. But yeah. Okay. So let's get into the episode. Now that we've mentioned that, we're focusing on Anthony Padilla's, channel alone, which has 6.11 million subscribers. Yeah. His most popular videos include Draw My Life, Anthony Padilla 2013, which is when he was still with Smosh. I Spent a Day with Multiple Personalities, that has 17 million views. Same as the Draw My Life, actually. Must just be edging it out. And then Why I Left Smosh has 16 million views. On this channel, I actually remember when he first started it, he started it with a bunch of skits. He kind of left, and then they did a lot of skits on Smosh, so he kind of, continued with that humor and in doing it in that way. And then he eventually just started getting into, his interviews. Yeah. It looks like, he just started getting into, like, a rhythm. I think it might have started with I Spent a Day with Time Travelers. And after that, he hasn't really backed down ever since. He started with that got popular, a few more skits, and then it's been kind of fully that ever since. To be honest, Anthony Padilla's channel is kind of what I strive to be. If there were a future for this podcast, and a future that would be conducting actual interviews, which has kind of always been the goal, but it's just hard in practice because I'm a small podcaster. But the goal for this channel would be to reach something like that. I think what he does is really cool, and I really look up to it. I would hope that one day I could do something like that. The one advantage that he has over me is that Anthony Padilla, as I said before, is literally, I would say, almost like a founding creator of YouTube. He kind of pioneered what it means to be a YouTuber. Yeah, which is just insane. So with that amount of pull, he has definitely been able to get some amazing guests on, amazing YouTube guests, and other guests in general. Like his other videos are really cool to see. They bring a lot of, maybe awareness and understandings to some very niche groups, which is super cool. But I watched a lot of the more creator videos because that's, the content I like. That's the content I try to produce. So that's what I focused on for this episode. So one of the videos that I ended up watching was his most recent one with Amaranth. Now, Amaranth is a creator on Twitch who is kind of focused. It's not 18 plus content since it's on Twitch, but it's content of I would say geared towards more probably mature nature. She posts, she models a lot too, posts on her Instagram. She has an OnlyFans Patreon. Like, that's the type of creator she is, and she owns up to it. And she's really cool about it. And I had listened to the Yard podcast before with Ludwig, with Amaranth. And then after, listening to this, you really get a respect for Amaranth. Although you may not be a fan of the content she creates, and although you may think other content is more creative, she is really driven in what she does. And she has a clear goal in mind, which is starting like a really cool animal shelter. And she just never stops working. And that is revealed in this interview. And then Anthony has also done, he's basically going through the list of Dream SMP members. He has done interviews with Ranboo, Tubbo, Dream, and I think he just posted today that he will be eventually doing an interview with Wilbur. And what I really like and appreciate about Anthony as an interviewer, because I can get into each of these individual videos, but if I do that, I'm going to be more talking about the creators he interviews than him. And I think that speaks a lot of volumes about his channel. Anthony is very good at letting the other creators shine. Again, Anthony has been on the internet a long time. So, with some of maybe the smaller people he invites on or the other guests, it could be easy to be a big personality and kind of take over the whole show. Make jokes here and there, constantly try to do bits, try to be the center of attention, but he doesn't do that. He's able to take a step back, which is really refreshing, to have a celebrity type figure, at least in the YouTube space, lead that type of interview. And it's cool to see him do that and give people space to talk, but while he takes a step back, he leads an incredible conversation. When he's talking to people like Ranboo and Tubbo, maybe, he's asking some heavy-hitting questions, about fame hitting early, how it affects your schoolwork, how, you're dealing with anxiety and burnout. Those are hard-hitting questions, and he's able to prompt his creators really well, prompt them in a way that kind of leads them to a conclusion or kind of maybe helps them escape from a moment where they're, kind of just thinking. And he's really good at kind of providing those kind of escape routes, and he leads the conversation without forcing the creators into an answer. It is some of, I would say, the best interview skills I've seen on the platform. Because what I also appreciate about Anthony is I'm not going to throw... Okay, so I'm kind of going to throw shade here, but I'm not going to. So, the Courage and Nadeshot Show is a podcast. It's a podcast I enjoy listening to. It's made by 100 Thieves and Cash App, and it's where Nadeshot and Courage, both go in and talk to a lot of different creators. But a lot of the times, Nadeshot goes in knowing nothing about them. And then they give him a small sheet to read from, and he kind of understands. And there is an interesting perspective to kind of see someone learn about your favorite creator for the first time, and they're asking, questions that a, new viewer would have, but he doesn't really know anything about it. And at least from a viewer perspective, it seems like Anthony is really well researched in the creators he interviews, which is really cool. I honestly believe in every video he does, he puts the time, he puts the effort. And even if he has a team put in the time, put in the effort, he briefs himself. He goes on and understands, what that creator's life is like, the intricacies of everything, understanding what they did, what their relevance is, and I think that's really important. He feels like, a viewer. He feels like, one of us trying to understand more about his favorite creator. And I think that's a really cool skill to have. Now, he may not, research that much. He may just get briefed before. But anyway, he makes the viewer feel like that, and that's what matters at the end of the day. And again, continuing on this, Anthony tangent of kind of, although he steps back, he still brings conversation, which I think is important. A lot of times a creator will, if not a creator, an interviewer, if they're interviewing someone, will do something in the lines of, just asking questions. They'll be like, okay, how did the money affect your day-to-day life, the money and fame? And then the creator will answer. And the interviewer will like, so what's your inspiration? And they'll just ask questions, which an interviewer can do. That's what they normally do. But Anthony provides an experience in which it's more of a conversation than an interview, which I think is really cool. It's a conversation focused on someone. It's obviously intended to spotlight whoever he has on, but it's a conversation. Anthony gives his own opinion. He, relates to them or talks about his own experiences, sometimes offers differing things, laughs with them, kind of plays fun, and I think that's really important. Although he doesn't steal the attention, he still does make bits, which makes it, I think, Anthony Padilla's channel. That's where I think you can give him credit. Because, of course, you could just have people on, ask them questions that anybody could ask. But in making this more of a conversation, the interview, he brings it to a level that I would give him credit for the success this channel has, even if he has big names on it. And I think that's really cool. And from what I've seen, he's talked to Corpse, who I think he's met in real life. And he's talked to Dream. And he's talked to Ranboo and Tubbo and, all these crazy people on, really serious topics. And he makes everything, he makes you comfortable in the uncomfortable. In the uncomfortable. Which is, I don't think, a trait that you can develop. Maybe you can. But he's good at, breaking those larger topics down into small digestible pieces. And I think, I don't know if he's intended to do this, if this is a step in his, kind of mission statement, but he's made a lot of creators feel more human. And I think that's a needed attribute in this world, in this internet world. A lot of times we get to worshiping certain people. We get to, worshiping certain people, or we get too sensitive about these people. And I think Anthony, shows that, yes, they're creators and they're funny, but they are also human. He reveals a balance in that, Tubbo is 17. So we'll ask Tubbo things about, the weird, pictures and fan fictions that come out of it. And I think what is cool is by asking Tubbo about that, and I'm assuming he prepares Tubbo before and shows Tubbo the questions he's going to ask, he sets Tubbo up for on a platform to give his piece about that. He sets Tubbo up to maybe condemn something Tubbo doesn't like. And, I probably think it's hard to just outright say on a stream with no context, oh, please stop making those weird drawings of me. So he sets Tubbo out and gives him the platform to talk about what's uncomfortable and comfortable. And I think that provides more of an understanding to everybody around and hopefully, kind of makes these parasocial relationships that Ludwig always talks about, where people at home feel like they know the person they're watching every day and they're friends with them. I think it brings it to a bit of a more normal level. A viewer streamer level, where you understand that person doesn't know you, and you understand you have to treat them with the respect that you would treat any other celebrity, and that you're not best friends with them. Editing style. His editing is amazing. Just phenomenal. The conversation flows really well. You never really feel like there's a lag time, and I imagine there's a lot of footage cut and a lot of, gaps taken out, but the way they cut it, I think they have maybe 3 cameras, maybe 2. It feels like it goes very smoothly. And, hats off. I think he has a whole team that probably edits and also films, but it's very, very smooth. And when Dream and Corpse went on, he had like animations in place of them since they don't show their faces, which was also a really cool addition. His thumbnails, really great too. I think they're awesome. But yeah, he is able to make it a very smooth interview, which is tough to do, I would imagine, on some of the more serious topics, because there's probably a lot of stopping and things that might need to be cut out. I'll click on a random video to talk about his team, because I want to give shout outs to the small people. He has executive producer and co-writer, director of photography, camera operator, production assistant editor, post PA / assistant editor, sound editor, theme music composer, portrait painted. Like a crazy amount of crew, but it all comes together to make a really awesome product, and I think it's worth it. So again, an amazing creator, and I think sadly this is going to have to wrap it up for today. This is going to be a shorter episode, but yeah, he's really awesome. Go check him out. He's what I strive to do. So yeah, sorry, I know, for those who've made it here, for the lack of clips this episode. If you've made it here, you're probably a regular. Basically, I'm in the middle of my midterms. So it is 11 p.m. on a Monday when this is coming out. And get this, it's 11 p.m. on a Monday when I'm recording this. And now I do video now and release it a week after. Check the YouTube. So I was like, oh shit, I have to actually look good too. But yeah, thank you for still watching. I want to give a really, really big thank you to you guys. I was just looking at the retention on Spotify, which is, how long people stay listening, and it's been really, really good. It's been longer than it has. With some episodes, you would get like average listen of 2 seconds, 5 seconds, but the Valkyrie one got 12 minutes and 55 seconds average, which is really, really cool. And also I appreciate again all the reviews and everything. I haven't checked the Spotify reviews in a while, but it's been steadily going up and it's been good. On podcast reviews, I believe there was one from Robuxless that asked if I had another podcast. So I do not have another podcast on YouTube, but I actually never thought someone would ask about this. I did have another podcast that I kind of did before this one. It's about on the down low. If you're still listening, I guess you're probably a true fan. So it was called Rambles and Rants, and that one was more about my life. I don't post on it frequently at all. The last one was like maybe November. I was thinking about posting a new one recently, but it's really about my life and some of my interests. If you want to check it out, you can, but it's not anywhere related near this content. And another thing I wanted to thank you guys about is on Spotify, if you listen on Spotify, you probably been hearing ads, and those ads actually do help me. It's not a crazy number, so I'll say it. I made like $3 or something in the month of December, which is cool. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's cool. But why it's cool is because that means I sold like 300 ad impressions. That means 300 times. A company was like, okay, we're going to place our ad on Mac's podcast, which is pretty awesome. And I don't know, it feels like a step in a really cool direction, especially since it's not like a podcasting company, it's like actual companies, and that's pretty sick. So thank you guys for all of you who listen on Spotify. If you don't, thank you too. Don't be pressured into listening on Spotify. But I really appreciate it. I might get working on that Discord server after my midterms are done, and we'll think about other content. I know there was that Minecraft YouTuber you guys wanted me to look at who does, I think, the 100 Days style content, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you guys. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.